You finally got that promotion to be a first-time leader, and now you're leading your own team. You might be walking into a team, or you may have been part of an existing team, but now with the promotion, things have changed. One question that's probably going through your mind is, how do I get others to listen to me? And that's a good question to ask, because when you're able to get others to listen to you, you can harness the collective energy to achieve the team goals. But the real question isn't so much about how to get others to listen to you, because they can. The actual question to ask is how to get others to want to willingly listen to you. If you have been following first-time leadership for a while, then you know that leadership is a combination of traits. In my research into answering this question, I've realized that it's actually quite complicated because there are multiple traits involved. In this video, I'm going to share with you some of the leadership traits that can get others to willingly want to listen to you. Let's get started. The leadership traits that I'm using in this video are drawn from the 30 principles of first-time leadership. There's a link in the description below. Just click on it. Leadership is about bringing others to their success. And one example that you can do is to consistently give credit when and where and to whom it is due. When you believe in this concept that leadership is about bringing others to their success, then it shows up in your words, actions, and decisions. And when you do so consistently enough, people will start to believe it, and they will be more willing to want to listen to you. How you bring others to their success is not always from the front. Sometimes it's from the side, guiding. Other times it might be from the back, supporting. The key is this. You got to give your team the opportunity to lead in their own work. And they can't do that if you're always leading in front. Getting your team members to lead in their own work means making them fully accountable for the work that they do. And they are more likely to listen to you, especially if you're supporting them from the back or guiding them from the side, because they're going to want to get things right. And for that reason, that desire to want to get things right, they're more likely to willingly want to listen to you. Most of us would rather listen to someone who is authentic and genuine than someone who is not. And that goes the same for you and your leadership. When those in your team feel that you have been consistently authentic, genuinely care and are concerned about their well-being, and take the time and effort to listen to what they have to say, they are more likely to reciprocate and do the same for you. Do as I do, not as I say. If you want to get others in your team to listen to you, then one thing that you must do is to first listen to them. Could you imagine having a conversation where the other person does all the talking and you had to do all the listening? Wouldn't you get frustrated? Because after all, you have things to share in that conversation as well. The same goes with your team. And in any case, as a leader, you have to do more of the listening, because that gives you the opportunity to gather more information to better exercise your leadership. To get others to willingly want to listen to us, we need to have influence over them. And influence comes from the relationships that we have with those that we lead. So my question to you is, are you constantly working on building those relationships? Now, I'm not talking about faking it. I'm talking about having genuine interactions with others around you, especially with those that you lead. When the people that you lead get a sense that you're being genuine and you're consistently authentic, then they have a feeling as to who you are as a person. And that makes it easier in the long run for you to be able to influence them and get them to listen to what you have to say. All of us tend to view the world through our experiences, and we assume that how we want to be led applies to everyone else. As a leader, you need to regularly remind yourself that everybody wants to be led the way they want to be led. And so it is your job to go find out how each person in your team wants to be led. And that means making minor adjustments to your leadership approach. Some team members really appreciate a leader who is willing to get to know them and understand them to find out how they want to be led. And when you do that, they will show their appreciation and be more willing to listen to you in turn. The process of getting to know your team members shows that you care and that you are willing to lead with the care and concern of their well-being. It is the team that produces the results. So as a leader, it's your job to develop the competencies of your team so that they can be better and get closer to their success. When you do so regularly, your team members will have another reason to follow and listen to what you have to say. Well, I've mentioned that a leader should be doing a lot of listening. Listening is part of a conversation where there's also speaking. And so one of the things that you need to do, besides just listening where you are gathering information, is to also be asking relevant questions. What asking relevant questions does is that it gives you access to more relevant information where you can then make better decisions. And some people really appreciate that the leader is asking relevant questions because it shows a care and concern for their well-being and for the quality of the work that is to be produced. I mentioned earlier that a leader should be listening first, and they should in fact do more of the listening. But what exactly are you listening for? You see, listening is really about enabling your team member or the other person to be more successful in what they do. Sometimes this listening might just be being a patient ear to the challenges that people have. Other times, it might be listening to suggestions that have merits when it comes to implementation. Whatever the case might be, listening is about enabling others so that they can get better and be closer to their success. Adding on to what I said earlier about listening, there's also a skill in how you go about doing it, as well as how you go about asking those relevant questions. And that's where you need to exercise your emotional intelligence, particularly sympathy, empathy, and compassion. Each leadership situation that you face is going to be different. So when you are dealing with a particular situation right in front of you, while you're listening, you're also making that judgment as to what relevant questions to ask. And sometimes it is in asking those relevant questions that will influence others to willingly want to listen to you. For your team and for many of us, having clear goals with timelines helps us to focus our energy. As the leader of the team, you need to know what success looks like for your team members, especially for each of them, so that then you and the team member can jointly agree on the goals that are to be set and the rewards to be expected. This motivates your team member to start working towards those goals. Now, your job is to regularly check in on your team member to help them maintain the momentum towards those goals. And when you're able to do that, both in setting and in maintaining the momentum towards the goals, you are more likely to get them to want to willingly listen to you. If you enjoyed this video so far, really appreciate if you give me the thumbs up. It helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you have yet to subscribe to First Time Leadership, do click on the subscribe button to be notified of when new videos come out to help you with your leadership journey. And lastly, if you have any comments about what I've shared in this video, do share a comment below.